Hey everybody, it's Allan, and I hope that you are doing well. So today is April 15th, and on this date back in 2017, the music world, and specifically the guitar playing world, lost one of the most unheralded, unappreciated, yet inspiring, mind-blowing, mind-boggling guitar players of all time, Mr. Allan Holdsworth. This man's inspiration and influence stretched so far that, frankly, it permeates itself all the way through all of modern contemporary music for the last 40 years. We're talking he inspired players like Eddie Van Halen and Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, but then also contemporaries like, Andy Summers and the likes. His phrasings, his chord structures, his legato technique. Oh my God, his legato technique is mind-boggling. Anyway, we're going to celebrate the man this on the anniversary, the 7-year anniversary of his passing away, by listening to 2 songs. First, we're going to listen to a 1972 track by the band Tempest, which Allan was a member of. It's a song called Borthers. And we're going to follow that up with one of Allan's solo album songs, and it's a song called Isotop.
On the dark ways of a thoughtful land overrun at night, twinkle peaceful thoughts of a million men, whose hearts are bound with love, whose feelings want to the righteous land, to feed the young, to grow up strong and fight forever. The growth of thought that's stunted by a hot Rhodesian sun, the lack of meat that's at the feet of elder mind, is vesting the interest of every man's future and every man's past. Lived out again ancestors' mistakes, casting gods in death, and you die forever. And those who are old before that time, they know that survival is worth its name. I plead with my brothers, my cause, to shock the logic that death can't harm. For darkness and the light are of the same night, yet we fight forever. The growth of thought that's stunted by a hot Rhodesian sun, the lack of meat that's at the feet of elder minds, is vesting the interest of every man's future and every man's past. Lived out again ancestors' mistakes, casting gods in death, and you die forever.
Okay, So a song like that may have sounded somewhat contemporary, but you have to remember that's 1972. And people were not playing music like that unless you were listening to groups like, I don't know, the Mahavishnu Orchestra or King Crimson or, Yes, or maybe even early Genesis. You just weren't hearing guitar. You weren't hearing guitar playing like that basically at all. The only person I could think of that was coming close probably at that time was somebody like Steve Howe. And that's about it. And then even beyond that, I mean, that legato, oh, Jesus crow. That legato is just incredible. Anyway, let's move on to Isotope. Jeez. You know, I know in the video there's a couple of times, both in the first track and Brothers and this track Isotope, where my eyes were wide open, my brain was overflowing, and I was like, okay, I put my hands up, Allan, you are ridiculous. It's because no matter how much I try to conceptualize guitar parts, I listen to Allan Holdsworth and I'm like, this guy's in a whole other mindset, you know? And without him, we don't have a lot of the contemporary, highly sought after, appreciated, and loved guitar players that we have today. We don't. The music of players like Steve Vai and Paul Gilbert and others just would not be what they are without Allan Holdsworth as an influence. Same thing could be said for players like Zakk Wylde. Zakk Wylde loved Holdsworth and probably still does to this very day. I don't know. I have not asked him. But that guy, like I said, his influence is widespread throughout the music of the last 30 years, whether we can understand it and acknowledge it or not. It's there. The number of people who bought this book right here, Allan Holdsworth, reaching for the uncommon chord. I got this back in, when did I get this? Probably somewhere around 1990 or so. Truth be told, I borrowed it from my friend Dan Stearns and never gave it back. Sorry, Dan. I got it. If you want it, I can send it to you. But yes, I got it from him and I never returned it. The truth of the matter is I also never really fully understood it and comprehended it. I got about halfway through it and it kind of twisted my brain a lot, and in a good way, but also in a way of just realizing that I would have to have started studying this long before I did for me to fully comprehend it. This is straight up. This is one of the great books that guitar players can buy, and you should look for it especially if you're in that world of sort of shredder music or contemporary jazz, rock, metal fusion kind of thing. This book should be kind of a Bible in some ways. It certainly should be mandatory reading amongst the crews of guitar players who go to places like Berkeley and Musicians Institute and other places like that. It's a mind expanding bit of information that, again, only those who are truly committed to the instrument will fully be able to grasp, in my opinion. With that said, we're remembering Allan Holdsworth, obviously, on the anniversary of his passing. I hope you see that this was the beloved, fitting tribute that I intend it to be. Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. We can talk about it further. Just know that I appreciate all of you, and I wish you well. Take care.